From huge crocodiles and centipedes to gigantic turtles and monster snakes, here are 14 of the world's biggest cryptid monsters. 14. Bunyip. Now this is one of the more famous Australian cryptids and is believed to live close to billabongs, creeks or swamps. By most accounts, it's agreed that the bunyip has flippers, tusks and a horse-like tail. It's said to make a loud bellowing noise when approached and comes out at night to feast on children, women and animals. Now fossils of Diprotodon may provide a clue for the existence of the bunyip. They were the largest known marsupial that ever lived, weighing more than 6,000 pounds and standing more than 6.5 feet tall. And some Aboriginal tribes have identified bones of Diprotodon as belonging to bunyips. 13. Nagao Boo. Allegedly found in the savannah region of Cameroon. This creature is said to be roughly the size of an ox, but is fierce enough to fight elephants for land. Nagao Boo is a regional word for rhino, but this hooved animal is said to have 6 horns. From some descriptions provided by pygmy locals, this creature sounds like it could be a surviving ceratopsian, a group of beaked dinosaurs of which Triceratops is likely the best known. Now, one problem with that theory though, ceratopsian fossils have never been found in Africa. 12. Peluda. Now this is one of the more unusual creatures on a list, which is kind of saying a lot when you think about it, but this one is described as a dragon that terrorized a region of northwestern France during medieval times. Depending on the source, it had the body of an ox combined with the quills of a porcupine. But instead of quills, the Peluda had a mass of tentacles that were tipped with poisonous stingers it could shoot from its body. Other accounts mentioned it was colored green and could not only breathe fire, but spit out some powerful acid as well. 11. Emelantauca. Now this cryptid is said to weigh more than 13,000 pounds while standing more than 10 feet tall, and those are about the dimensions of an African bush elephant. So maybe it's not so ironic that its name actually means elephant killer, except for the fact that this ferocious beast is known to not only kill elephants, but just about anything else that gets in its way. They're actually said to more closely resemble rhinos though, with a massive body on column-like legs, and one giant horn located on its snout. Similar to Nagao Boo, this one has also been speculated to be a ceratopsian like Triceratops. But whether it's a reptile or a mammal, this big beast is said to inhabit remote regions of the Congo. 10. Biggest birds. Indigenous peoples from North and South America have reported sightings of thunderbirds for centuries. Now, these creatures were said to be so enormous and powerful that they could snatch whales from out of the ocean and fly them back to the nests. When the huge birds flapped the wings, a booming sound like thunder was created, hence the name. Sightings of these monsters have continued into the 21st century, with occurrences most recently reported in Alaska and Texas. Cryptozoologists think that thunderbirds might be connected to the Pterotornithidae. Those were huge birds of prey that lived in the Americas until the late Pleistocene epoch. The largest of this group is identified as Argentavis magnificens. Fossils of that creature have been found in Argentina, and conservative estimates place this bird's wingspan up to around 26 feet, while it probably weighed under 200 pounds. 9. Iliamna lake monster. While stories of this creature have been told for ages by the Indigenous Aleut people, it wasn't known to the public until the 1940s. Iliamna Lake is said to contain a beast that goes some 30 feet long and has a square head it uses to ram into boats. The earliest accounts describe it as having the head and tail of a wolf and the body of a killer whale, or orca. After pilots claimed to see huge silver-colored fish in the lake in the 1940s, many reports of the creature followed over the following decades. Did you know that in 1979, the Anchorage Daily News offered a $100,000 reward to anyone providing indisputable proof of the creature's existence? Well, to date, that reward is still unclaimed. 8. Makele Mbembe. Now, what kind of creature would be strong enough to kill a hippo? Makele Mbembe is known to kill him on sight. Allegedly seen in the People's Republic of Congo, it's said to resemble a sauropod with a long neck and tail. Now, judging from tracks, the beast has 3 claws, and eyewitness accounts say it inhabits pools and lakes of the Congo River Basin and reaches more than 30 feet long. Its tail and neck are said to extend about 10 feet each. Although it usually stays underwater, this animal is known to overturn boats and kill the passengers aboard. It's been the subject of many expeditions, but little has been found aside from mysterious tracks and second-hand eyewitness accounts. 7. Conrod. Now, this term Conrod applies to sea serpents, but this creature from Vietnam is unique in that it's usually described as a huge aquatic centipede. It's said to live in the South China Sea, and its body is composed of a series of bony plates, along with fish-like fins it uses to swim. A beached carcass found in 1883 was said to measure more than 60 feet long and around 3 feet wide. 50 years later, a creature with a similar description washed ashore in Vietnam. It was decapitated, but had segmented joints that were tough and durable, and they sounded like sheet metal when they were struck. This creature's last documented appearance was in the 1960s in Hong Kong. 6. Mahamba. This reptilian beast is said to have been sighted in the Republic of Congo in swampy lake regions. It's basically described as a massive crocodile, measuring up to some 50 feet long. Indigenous peoples claim the animal attacks rafts and boats, devouring anyone aboard. And there's speculation this big croc could be a leftover freshwater relic of the Mosasaurs. But those enormous reptiles lived in the sea and were thought to have gone extinct more than 60 million years ago. 5. Tahoe Tessie. Now, this is another type of huge aquatic serpent. This one's said to inhabit Lake Tahoe, located in California and Nevada. Sightings are traced to the mid-19th century, when such tales were recounted by members of the Paiute and Washoe Native American tribes. According to legend, the monster stays in an underwater tunnel located below Cave Rock. Tessie is usually described as having reptilian features and measuring up to about 80 feet long, with a wide serpentine body and coloration ranging from turquoise to jet black. Some theories suggest Tessie might be anything from a plesiosaur to a new species of freshwater eel. Sightings have continued into the 21st century, regardless of what the creature may or may not be. 4. The Murray Monster. While researching this episode, we found a picture featuring a huge, mysterious creature, and we kind of thought it matches the description of this beast. Sometimes simply referred to as the Murray, it is named for Lake Murray in Papua New Guinea, where it was first seen by the locals there. It's described as a bipedal amphibious creature with legs as big as tree trunks and short forelimbs. Now, most accounts claim it goes 6 feet wide and is as long as a dump truck. Along with having teeth about as long as a human finger, crocodile-like skin, and triangular shapes running along its back, it had a long neck and a slender tail. Now, the creature in our picture would seem to possess some of those physical attributes. Now, we don't know for sure if this is actually the Murray Monster, but many cryptozoologists speculate that it could be a lost specimen of T-Rex that somehow escaped extinction. So what do you think? Did we really find a picture of that Murray Monster, or is it something else? Tell us what you think in the comments. 3. Kraken. These well-known cryptids are traditionally believed to have lived off the coasts of Greenland and Norway. While these animals are usually thought of as resembling giant squids, some accounts describe them as not having tentacles at all and having a greater resemblance to whales or huge crabs. Experts trace this creature's origins to a 13th century old Icelandic saga where a beast known as the sea mist was mentioned. It was described as the greatest monster in the sea, able to swallow ships and whales alike. Many cryptozoologists think the Kraken could have been a giant squid. Those creatures can reach lengths of some 60 feet or longer, although some of those greater measurements are not scientifically documented. 2. Ninjin. We are told that Ninjin means human in Japanese, and sightings of humanoid life forms have been reported by whalers in the waters of the Antarctic. These creatures are huge, estimated at some 30 meters long. That's about 90 feet at the very least. Most accounts describe them as having a stark white coloration, usually with arms, legs, and hands that have 5 fingers. Other accounts claim that Ninjin have fins rather than legs, and some claim they even have tentacles. Pictures of these cryptids have proven difficult to come by because they seem to be the most active at night. And so far, there's been no definitive explanation of what this particular creature might be. But some cryptozoologists have speculated that the Ninjin could be anything from an albino whale to some undocumented species of marine life. What do you think? And before getting to our number 1 cryptid, let's give a big shout out to some honorable mentions here. They have been covered a lot here and there, but we still have to give them the propers. Titanoboa was the huge snake that lived some 60 million years ago, but there are rumors that it's still slithering around today. Most experts say the reptile measured about 45 feet long, possibly a bit longer, and they likely would have weighed around 2,500 pounds. Now, Megalodon, you've seen this enormous prehistoric shark pop up now and then. Now, these beasts are thought to have measured some 60 feet long, and alleged sightings of them persist into the 21st century. Did you know there's a movie about those monsters coming out in 2018 called The Meg, and that's starring Jason Statham? Although here's a spoiler alert, he does not play the Megalodon. And the Loch Ness Monster is probably the most famous cryptid here, and possibly the one with the most claimed sightings. Most estimates place her up to 30 feet long, while weighing about 2,500 pounds, and that's led some to speculate that she might be a prehistoric marine reptile like a plesiosaur that somehow survived for some 65 million years. But from what we could tell, no sightings of Nessie have occurred since November of 2017. What do you think she's been up to since then? 1. Ceratin. Now, tortoises are known to get pretty big, but the Ceratin is a tortoise so enormous that its shell could be mistaken for a small island. Said to be hundreds of feet in diameter, the carapace resembles a rocky, sloped mound of land. Sailors have actually dropped anchor on this misidentified landmass, only to be drowned when the ship is dragged underwater at night, and that's when the creature sinks below the waves. When the Ceratin is hungry, it attracts prey with a sweet aroma that wafts from its mouth. And when the mouth is sufficiently full, its jaws snap shut, not unlike an alligator's. There's speculation that this cryptid might have some relation to Archelon, the largest genus of sea turtles that died out around 80 million years ago. Those creatures were estimated to weigh more than 4,800 pounds.